to the Riding the Bench Eagles podcast from Philadelphia. I just came back from the open practice at Lincoln Financial Field to give you my takeaways for the Philadelphia Eagles going into the 24 season. I drove from Long Island, New York, about 200 miles to come down here, experience it firsthand, and give you my takeaways. So don't say I'm not committed to the bit. I am committed to the bit, okay? I love my Philadelphia Eagles, and let me tell you what a blast it was to watch them go through open practice. The atmosphere was electric, and I mean, it was bigger than football because all the money that they made that on tonight. I'm recording this on Thursday night. All the proceeds go to the Eagles Autism Foundation, so everybody showed up, showed out, had a great time, and like I said, bigger than football. It was a special night in Philadelphia. The first public practice open to the public, and the team did not disappoint. And it was an electric atmosphere. I mean, so many people came out in support of the Birds, and it was just a sensational sight to see. It felt like opening night. That's what it felt like. It was just what an amazing experience it was to come out. They put on a damn show. That's what they did. They put on a damn show, and it was amazing to sit there and just be able to be a part of that Eagles family for just one night. It was truly a special moment. Let's talk about some of the takeaways that I got from the live open practice, open to the public. But before I do that, let me introduce the show, okay? This is the Riding the Bench Eagles podcast. I am your host, Asif Badi. Again, a little bit of a different show today. I usually do this in my recording studio, my basement, but I am literally in a hotel room in Philadelphia recording this bad boy on my phone. So a little bit of a different look. Forgive the get up, forgive the off the cuff type of episode, but most of my notes were on my phone, but I'm using my phone to record this show. But let's talk about it. There's some main takeaways from the live open practice, and I think some things bode really well for us going into the 24 season, and some things are a little bit of a head scratching, okay? A little bit of a head scratching moment. So let's talk about some of the positives, okay? Jalen Hurts, Kellen Moore, and this offense, they looked so damn sharp tonight. It was a spectacular performance by the offense. Every play they ran was to perfection. Look, Jalen Hurts did miss a couple throws. He had one throw to Johnny Wilson that was just a tick overthrown in the back of the end zone, and then a missed time throw on a comeback with Paris Campbell. But other than that, did not miss a beat. Looked sensational operating this offense. The plays coming in with ample time to survey the defense. Comes to the line of scrimmage. Total command. Checks out of plays at the line. I mean, he looked like all the reports that say he looks in total control, in total command of the offense. That is exactly what it looked like. Like, they were not exaggerating on that front. He looked like he knew exactly what he wanted to do, when he wanted to do it, who did he want to hit on throws, and at which part of the field. Like, he was absolutely locked in from opening get-go. Literally the first drive, run a couple of plays for Saquon Barkley, handoffs, does a read option play, and then literally, like, the second pass he throws, he drops back in the pocket, rolls out, and just flings it up to A.J. Brown, up like a 40-yard gain up the sideline on Darius Slay, and then the stadium went nuts on that play. Like, it felt like game day. It legit felt like game day. It was an offense and defensive 11-on-11 scrimmage type of setup, and Kellen Moore called the offense to perfection, and Jalen Hurts and this unit ran it to perfection. The running game looked spectacular. Saquon Barkley that's the shiftiest running back I've ever seen in my life. I've seen Le'Veon Bell play. I've seen, some really, really good running backs play in my lifetime. I've seen Breece Hall play. I've seen Ray Rice play. Le'Veon Bell, like I said. That's the shiftiest running back I've ever seen. And what a physical freak A.J. Brown is too. Like, to see it in person, because I was a few rows back. I was like maybe, 15 or 16 rows back from like the south side end zone. So I got a good look at where their entrances were, where they were coming out, and like just watching them warm up. He is a physical presence, unlike any receiver I've ever seen. And to be able to move like that, to be able to catch balls over the shoulder like that, the route running was truly remarkable. And Jalen Hurts just hit him on a rope, on a dime. I mean, it was perfect, literally perfect. And he looks fluid, he looks agile, he looks lighter, he looks leaner, he looks like 22 Hurts. That's what he looked like today. Now listen, I know what you're probably thinking, like, hey, 22 Hurts was another level. This is as close to we have seen him look like that in a long time, okay? Last year he did not look like that. You could tell something was off with him. Maybe the money got to his head, he was hurt, whatever it was. Whatever it is, it's not the case right now. And this offense, it looks more modern, it looks faster, it looks fluid, it looks just more locked in than it was last season. And it's incredible to see. And Dallas Goedert had a sensational night. He had like 3 touchdowns. Couldn't be guarded by what the defense was doing. They just took advantage of the linebackers, and we'll get to them in just a moment. Kenneth Gainwell had a great night. He had a couple of touchdowns, 1 rushing and 1 great receiving touchdown. Just the overall dominant performance by this offense. And like I said, Jalen Hurts looks like MVP Hurts. I said it before, he looks more fluid, he looks more agile, he looks like in total control and command of the offense. He played with conviction. And honestly, the offense, he didn't have the ball for more than 3 or 4 seconds a pop. He got the ball out of his hands in 2 seconds, hit the right guy, hit the running back a couple of times, had his tight ends there, hit a couple of slants to the wide receivers, had a nice comeback throw to Devontae Smith. He looked like he was operating at a very high level. And it was incredible to see. Gave me such a good feeling going into the Green Bay Packers game and going into this new season, because if this is the guy that we're going to get for the 24th season, the Philadelphia Eagles can really, really do some damage, okay? They can really do some damage in the NFC. Now, the only thing that gives me cause to pause here is what we're going to talk about now. This defense. Look, they have some really incredible athletes, okay? Like, even just watching them in warm-up, watching them play, like Bryce Huff is athletic, Nolan Smith, super athletic, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, athletic, Quinyon Mitchell, fluid, Avonte Maddox, really quick, Darius Slay, even at his advanced age, looked really good moving. Keely Ringo, really, really, really good athlete. Even Isaiah Rodgers looked really good in terms of just being able to move. But despite this incredible level of athleticism that they have, it just seems like whatever the offense wants, the defense just gives it to them. There is no level of resistance, at least in their base look, that you see from this defense, from this scheme. And that's the one thing that I came in concerned with the Vic Fangio scheme. Is it going to look more the same like it did last season? And I mentioned this in a couple of episodes before. Bryce Huff right now does not look like he's going to be the huge signing, at least at the moment right now. Still working into that form, but he's a good pass rusher, yes, but in terms of being able to cover, play the run, set the edge, that sort of thing, doesn't seem ready for that yet. Nolan Smith, question mark in that regard too. He didn't look like he was able to do that today per se. But again, they're so athletically gifted, you have to believe in the coaching that's there, and hopefully they can come to form as the season wanes. But as of right now, they don't look ready for that type of play just yet. And these linebackers, man, linebackers are just atrocious. That is a horrible unit in Philadelphia right now. Devin White did not pop off the field. He didn't look like he was making any spectacular plays. Zach Bond looked okay. Like Devin White was okay. Like I said, Van Sumeren okay. Braden Smith okay. Like none of them were any good. Okay, like none of them were good. None of them made plays where you were like, oh wow, nice pass breakup, nice tackle, way to close that gap, or way to just be in the right space. None of that. Hell, even James Bradbury looked better. Okay, like he looked like he just was a guy who just knows his way around the field playing safety. He was able to cut off a couple of passes in terms of just taking away reads for the quarterback, where he would look at Bradbury would close in, and then you have to look him off again. He played well. But these linebackers, my God, they were so bad. And in particular, and unfortunately I say this man's name because I actually like Nakobe Dean. I was very high on him coming in as a third-round draft pick for Philadelphia a couple years ago, but my God, this man needs prayer tonight. Kenneth Gainwell in this offense gave him the business tonight. Like, he could not stop anybody, man. He played the run okay, like he was in the right area, but boy, oh boy, you ask him to cover, he didn't have the feet work for it, man. Always a step behind, just always over pursuing. Like this offense just keyed in on attacking 17, and they gave him the business. Like the offense, they had a situational drill where they needed to score. They were down 6 points, 40 seconds left, drove up the field, and it's like third or fourth down, right in the end zone, and I shouldn't say right in the end zone, 20-yard line. And Kenneth Gainwell runs like a wheel route, like literally just like a zoop up the sideline. Jalen Hurts puts it over Nakobe Dean. Kenneth Gainwell just right in the breadbasket, beat him by 2 or 3 yards. And in NFL standard, that's like getting your ass kicked, okay? Like, you can't get beat by 2 or 3 yards if you're covering a running back. You're a linebacker. You got to be able to cover, okay? And I know Kenneth Gainwell is a good receiver running back, but there is no excuse for that to be the case, especially when you're trying to make the roster. And Nakobe Dean just had a really rough night. He looks like he can't play. It's almost looking like if anybody's going to get cut out of the linebacker group, I would be inclined to cut that guy. He did not look good. And I know Sirianni and Howie really, really like him, but he looks like he can't play. And another guy on the offensive end that looks like he can't play is John Ross, by the way. That guy can't catch a cold. He cannot catch a damn football. He's got blazing speed, yes, but Johnny Wilson's better than him. Britton Covey's better than him. Paris Campbell's better than him. Joe Nagata's better than him. He's not worth the roster spot. And neither, unfortunately, is Nakobe Dean. Because these linebackers overall just are not good in general, but he looks like the worst one of the bunch. And it's a damn shame because I'm sure he's such a phenomenal locker room guy and he's likable, but he had a really rough night. Really rough night. And if this is one of those nights that they look at and they need to determine whether or not someone can play on this team, not a good look for him. Really, really not a good look for him. And I think Vic Fangio is going to have a tough conversation with Howie Roseman and this organization and say, listen, this guy cannot play. But, this whole defense looks like it's going to struggle this year if it doesn't get its act together, because their base look, where they're playing this really 7 yards off the wide receivers and the 2 safety split look, it's just they give up everything underneath, and it's easy pickings for the offense. The only time that they put up some modicum of resistance was when they started getting desperate and playing more aggressive and started playing a little bit more press. That's when it started to slow down the offense, and then the defense kind of made a comeback in their drills, right? So Vic Fangio is going to have a lot of work to do with this defense. And I think they're going to have a tough conversation with Nakobe Dean because, unfortunately, to me, if I had to make roster cuts right now, it would look like John Ross and Nakobe Dean are the first names on the list. Like, those guys look like they don't belong on the field. And it's a damn shame because I'm sure he's a nice guy and I'm sure he's a really good locker room guy. But he can't cover. Like, he cannot cover anybody. And those are probably my biggest takeaways from this live public practice. The atmosphere was electric. Jalen Hurts and this offense looks incredible. They looked efficient. They looked sharp. He looks fluid. He looks like he's playing with conviction. And he looks like MVP form. Like, he looks like whatever was ailing him last season is not going to do that right now. That's great to see. And then on the defensive side of the ball, I said this a couple episodes ago, this defense is going to probably struggle. And it's going to take them some time before you see them kind of gel into a unit that could potentially just be respectable on an NFL level. Again, if you play your young guys, it's worth it. But if you're playing some of your veterans and they still look like this, I don't know. I did not like what I saw from the defense. Again, Eli Ricks had an interception at the very end of practice, which was nice. Ended the practice on a high note for the defense, which was good for them. Their first takeaway of training camp, finally. Darius Slay had a nice breakup pass on John Ross. And then, again, Quinyon Mitchell looked good moving out there on the field. Keely Ringo looks fluid. Bradbury looked okay. Maddox looked okay. The secondary played okay. It was really just those linebackers that just got exposed. And, it looks like they just have no business being out there. That is a horrible unit. That's a horrible unit in Philadelphia. And I think we're going to, at the end of this 24 season, if we don't get to our goal, this fan base is going to really be on Howie Roseman about fixing this linebacker position, because the linebacker position here, that's the worst unit I've seen. I've seen some bad football players. Those guys don't look like they belong anywhere on an NFL roster, which is sad because those are our starting linebackers, and we're going to have a long season if that's the case. But, that is why we play the game, right? So, but again, here's the biggest takeaway from all of this, okay? Despite the defense, despite the secondary, despite the linebacker play, if Jalen Hurts looks the way he did tonight and plays like that at a consistent level, and this offense is able to just churn and milk clock and put points up on the board, this ball team is going to be so difficult to stop. And that's scary. That is scary because the offensive talent right now is more talented than it was in 22. Barkley in the backfield, Goddard healthy, Smith healthy, Brown healthy. This offensive line, again, we lost Jason Kelce, which hurts, but Cam Jurgens looked good. And Jalen Hurts, if he's taking that next step in his growth and development in terms of diagnosing defenses and having total command of the offense, this is a scary, scary thing for the NFL. And I cannot wait to see it. Hey! Thank you so much for watching the Riding the Bench Eagles podcast. If you want to continue to support the channel, please hit the like and subscribe button down below. Also, check us out on Instagram and TikTok at Riding the Bench Eagles Pod. We're also on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, you name it, we're on there. Thank you so much for listening, and please join us next time here at the Riding the Bench Eagles Podcast.